Good afternoon. Welcome to the Daily Market Update Show. And this is where I update you guys on QQQ and SPY as well as the big tech stocks so that we can better understanding of the cracks that are happening in the past week in the market due to some of the big tech stocks are showing some weakness. So we'll be going over Nvidia, Tesla, Apple, Amazon, Google, and Microsoft to show us where the cracks are, give us a better understanding of how QQQ can potentially have further downside, or will QQQ bounce at this area if it's setting its lows or not? All right, let's take a look at QQQ and SPY first. And before we get into that, we'll just take a very quick look at the data. So right now we are looking at economic data, and tomorrow there will be building permits as well as new home sales. And the most key one for me would just be consumer confidence. The rest are not as important. And Wednesday we have Fed Chair Powell speaking again, as well as Thursday. So we'll see if he's going to be talking about those rate hikes that are not priced in the market. GDP is going to be quite important as well. And a lot of people are looking at that. Same thing as initial jobs claim, and this inflation data is also important. So right now, market is same thing, priced in for one hike. The second hike is not priced in at all. So we'll see if Jerome can convince the market Wednesday and Thursday. As now, no signs of that yet. Ingredient index, we were close to 80 last week, and now we're back to 72 due to us having a red week last week, as well as a red day today. So today seems like QQQ has just been free falling, but if we zoom out into the bigger time frames, we were down about roughly 1.3%, which is okay, but we're starting to shape up this big enough move on QQQ where now that the next bounce, bears will be starting to look for that lower high, meaning on the bounce, the next pivot of the high is going to be lower than the prior pivot high. Essentially, that's just meaning we will have a daily downtrend confirming if that happens. So remember last week I talked about that the most likely scenario is that weekly consolidation is going to shape up for QQQ. So when we look at the weekly time frame here, last week when we were close to the highs, I said we need something very, very similar to this, where one of those candles closes or just goes below the prior candle, meaning we have one big move up and weekly consolidation. So this candle right here is one below the prior candle, so that's a weekly consolidation. And now we have one big move up, and I said we are very, very likely going to get some form of weekly consolidation soon. How shallow or deep, we don't know, but we are very lucky getting one. So last week, our red week, and now today, this week, you can see this week's candle, we have gone below last week's low. So now that's the weekly consolidation. Now we're going to ask ourselves is how we know how deep this weekly consolidation retracement is going to be, right? Is it going to like come all the way down here, or is this it, right? Or is this the weekly consolidation that now the bulls can come back and buy the dip for the just like what happened down here? Big move up on the weekly consolidation, bulls buy the dip, big move up, weekly consolidation, bulls buy the dip. Now another big move up with the weekly consolidation. So where is that bottom going to be? So a couple of clues we can look at is we zoom in to the daily, right? So we ask ourselves, where did we close on the daily today? We just closed at pretty much low of the day, right? Like pretty much as low as it gets for the low of the day. So what does that mean when we close at low of the day? Psychology-wise, it just means that we just ran out of time for the market. If let's say market opened another hour or two, right? This could have probably closed here, right? So we don't know yet. But when it means closing at the low of the day, it just means that the barriers aren't done yet. But we ended up running out of time because market closes. Essentially, that's the same thing when we close at the high of the day. There's a likely scenario, the chance that the bulls aren't done yet. They just ran out of time, and they could potentially want to go even higher. Essentially, that's the psychology of closing at the low of the day or at the high of the day. Obviously, we don't know exactly. It's just increasing our probabilities when we have a couple of things coinciding with our trades. So when we look at this, we'll have to say At this very moment on Monday, where we close at the low of the day, there's zero signs of um, weekly consolidation marking the low of this weekly consolidation. If we started shaping up in the hourly chart where we had an uptrend right here, I would have been like, yep, this low is a very likely scenario that that weekly low is set. But as of now, we don't have any of that. You can see the bears have the hourly downtrend in their favor, and that would continue until it shifts back to the bulls. When that shifts back to the bulls, then I would start to zoom out into the daily to potentially look for that weekly time frame bottom, because I know a lot of bulls are going to be buying that weekly consolidation. That bottom is set. Obviously, we won't be nailing the exact bottom, but we'll start to see clues once it starts to shape up. So we can just take a look at what clues it showed us on this candle where it showed up the bottom, right? So let's go to the hourly chart. Wait, give me a second here. I figure out what date that was. That was that day would be, give me a second here, weekly. That would be on the 24th of April. Let's go to the 4-hour and we zoom back to the 24th of April. And this is the 4-hour. So you can see here, we're dropping. This was a 4-hour downtrend confirming. And even though we negated that, we never had a far uptrend confirming. It was a neutral trend here. And then we came back into the 4-hour downtrend. And right here, where that bulls bought the dip here, it bounced. We set that lower high and then confirmed a 4-hour uptrend back to the bulls. And that marked the low of that weekly consolidation on the 4-hour time frame. We would need something similar on the hourly time frame and the 4-hour time frame for the bulls to change the trend back to their favor for us to potentially say that it is the low of this weekly consolidation. And obviously, when we change the trend, doesn't mean it's 100% we're going to shoot back up. Because that would increase the probability of it being set a lot if that happens. So right now you can see on our 4-hour chart, it's 4-hour downtrend for the bears at the moment. So as long as it's continuing for the bears, we don't have that weekly bottom set yet on this consolidation. And although there is some healthy rotation right now into other sectors like SPY, you can see SPY drop a lot lower today. I'll go over SPY real quick once we finish QQQ. So yeah, so my guide on the 4 hours would be 12 EMA, still looking line. You can see we have been bouncing off of here and on this most recent couple of days, and reject here, rejected here, rejected here. So that's going to be a mini guide. Obviously, we don't need to use this to trade. Continuing the 4-hour downtrend, and this would also very likely be rejecting the entire time of that. And I'll be looking at this 357 support. You can see this triple top right there, what we could not get over for a week, and we finally broke above this bull volume. So when you come down to it, it's very likely you're going to have at least a mini bounce, right? Just like where we had a bounce over here, like a small one. And we'll see if the bulls can take back control once we bounce here. If not, if it's just a very shallow bounce, reject from the 12 EMA on the 4-hour, and we continue from our downside, then I'm looking at this 354.6, which is the prior golden pocket resistance zone on the Fibonacci. The 0.65 to 0.61 is the golden pocket. It's just the from this top of this bottom move from all-time high to the all-time low, we have retraced over 70% already. But if we come back to this golden pocket resistance, it will act as support because we are above it. And you can see prior there, we have also rejected from that level as well. Can get over for some time. And if we do straight shot back down here, this 350 range, it may actually start looking like a really big head and shoulders pattern forming up. And so we don't have that yet. It's quite far away to shoot all the way back down to 350. That would be I mean, it's possible 2.8%. We had red days where it's 3% in one day before, so you never know. But for now, we'll see if the bulls can shape up. So keep watch on that hourly time frame. If you guys are looking to buy the dip for bulls, and as of now, we don't have any signs of that yet. And for bears, just follow your trend, continuing that 4-hour downtrend and until it breaks. Then you can stop out, take your profit, and go on the long side. You can play as a trader. You want to play on both sides and to make the most money. S&P 500 looking a little bit weak as well, even though it held stronger than QQQ today. After this week's move plus today's move, now this next bounce, same thing with QQQ. Still needs to confirm a daily downtrend. We haven't had a daily downtrend yet. It's a QQQ as well on the daily time frame. It's one move, one straight move. There's none of the candles went above the prior candles. So it's one straight move. So the next bounce, we're likely scouting for that lower high for a downtrend. Now, and it's still in neutral. And now this is a big enough move where the next bounce can potentially stop that down there for the bears. I'm going to look at for the resistance levels, and let's take a look. On the hourly chart, we are testing right at resistance, support. Right here at this 431 zone. We close right about below it, but tomorrow market opens and reject it, go lower. Then I'm looking at this triple top where the QQ, that triple top, the QQ as well is. So that would be 429, 430 zone for me. You can see this level is going to be, I would say, acting as the strongest support. It's not that much support. And just probably go through it if you have another red day. We're likely to come down to the next zone. Yeah, 0.5% away. So probably going to be coming to test this zone support. So this is strong support for bulls, and for bears. For bulls, you want to go back up here to this 435. For bears, you want to come down to this zone. 2 pounds. And if it rejects, obviously we're going lower to the bottom of this range. But I'd say it's probably not likely tomorrow. Tomorrow, if we do have a red day, I'm going to say we're going to test here again. Right. Quick look at Nvidia. Nvidia, I talked about this all last week about 420 zone. If we break that 420 zone, it's going to flush due to this. There's no volume here, and there's not a lot of volume here. Especially when there's less volume in one area, if it's a straight shot up or a straight shot down, it's going to be easy when it comes back to that level as well to straight shot down it or straight shot up it. So you can see lack of volume in these zones. When we broke that 420 support, easy move down for the bears. There were not a lot of buyers here because price moved so quickly through that price, and something like this. More buyers in this zone because it went that way for so long. We're straight shot move up, and so it's a straight shot breakdown into this zone. Straight shoot into the next support zone from one support to the next support right away. And so that's what happened, and now we're looking at 404. If 404 breaks, looking down at psychological 400, and even though there's not a lot of support there, but psychological 400 will give us to 339 is my next strong support zone. 96. That would be right here roughly. And there's an event after hours, like in an hour. CEO is going to be talking about this fireside chat. So obviously he's going to always be saying good things about Nvidia. I know CEO is going to talk bad about. It's not like it's an earnings call, right? So we'll see what he says. And tomorrow they'll be priced in once he starts talking. Tesla, bearish reaction to that head and shoulders I've been talking about as well for the whole last week. This right shoulder, head, and left shoulder, and this is the neckline. Broke that neckline today. You can see how fast it also flushes through because in Nvidia there was a lot of support coming up. It's just a straight line shot up, and it's easy to bring it out as well. So now that neckline broke, is it confirmed? Shoulder is just a confirmed uptrend into a confirmed downtrend. See, one give up, way down. That's a downtrend. It used to be an uptrend, so that's what head and shoulders is. So now it's a confirmed downtrend. Zero times the bottom yet at the moment. We want to see the hourly, even the 15-minute trend change back to the bulls before anything can happen. Right now, even the shorter time frame are in bear control. See, even the 15-minute is on the downtrend. So hourly, 15 minutes, the 4-hour are all in a downtrend, as well as, let's see, daily, still not yet, just one move straight down. So the next bounce, if it shapes up a lower high, then that's a daily downtrend. But the monthly and the weekly is still in favor of the bulls, right? You gotta zoom out. Weekly is still an uptrend. Monthly is also still an uptrend. So depends on your time frame when you play these stocks, right? That's why we have these time frame analysis where we look at different time frames based on the time you're gonna hold the stock. Apple, still no red flags, but we had a bull break to all-time highs and lacking follow-through. That's just a very, very small red flag, and because none of the structures on Apple and its chart is damaged or anything at all. Still in a healthy uptrend in every time frame, other than the very small one, like 5 minute. That doesn't really matter that much when you look at the bigger picture. So first step for me, 12 EMA needs to break this tail looking line on the daily chart before anything even happens on an Apple. And if that breaks, we go to the 2-day, same thing. 2-day EMA 12 needs to break because of how many times it bounces. I have not seen Apple break the 12 EMA on the 2-day time frame since right here. So that's March 2nd. So that's 4 months. And it just, beautiful uptrend. There's no fake outs on here, no fake outs here or there, as long as the bulls just hold. And you have nothing to worry about. All right, let's take a look at Amazon. So Amazon is same thing with Apple. Bull break to its 50-week high, lacking follow through. So that's also an initial red flag as well. But also is in an uptrend in every time frame, other than the very, very small ones. So can Apple and Amazon start to break back into their prior ranges? So Amazon has another red day tomorrow. This would just be a bull break, zero follow through. Okay. After sideways action, all this energy that built up, boom, finally broke out of it. And bull just said, just kidding. And the bears took over, came back to this range. Then the most likely scenario is obviously you're going to try to go the other way, see if there's going to be the least resistant path of resistance. It's probably the way after we tried bull side, just like Google did. Google did the exact same thing. Bull break, said just kidding. The next day we came right to the bottom of the range and go follow through. So this is starting to shape up like Amazon, right? It's starting to shape up like bull break lacking follow through. And then Google confirmed a daily downtrend here. And now that daily downtrend is continuing. So Google been saying it's the weakest of the tech. And Microsoft decides to join Google. So I talked about it yesterday where is Microsoft going to join Apple and Amazon on the team bull, or Microsoft's going to weaken as well and join the weaker side of the tech stocks. So I've been saying this move is big enough where on the next bounce, we can potentially shape that lower high, which is exactly set right there, lower high. And we broke to this low, pivot low right there. And now we have a daily downtrend also confirmed for Microsoft. See this low bounce, break that prior low. Now this is a daily downtrend. Low of this day. So now Microsoft is joining Google. So now we've got to ask ourselves, if Amazon and Apple decides to start weaken just even a little bit, right? Then we're going to have more downside on QQQ. That's why we're closing at the low of this day, right? And if that happens, QQQ is going to have more downside, and it will continue to drag SPY down as well, because it's a technology sector in SPY, which consists of a lot of stocks from QQQ. So we'll see where Microsoft is going to bounce. I'm going to say very likely this level and this level, this support zone is going to be where Microsoft is going to bounce. And the size of this bounce is going to determine if we can change the trend or not. Same thing. Bulls, make sure to look for that hourly trend change to potentially set that bottom for you guys if you guys are looking to buy the dip. So now we don't have any signs of that yet. And feel free to subscribe if you guys made this far. And I will see you guys tomorrow for market updates. And feel free to ask any questions in the comments if you guys have any questions. And have a great rest of you guys today.